the side of insightful banter.
We don't just bring you the latest stories.
We bring you your talking points for the day.
And while you do that, from the busy streets of New York, I will provide you with deeper insights on the developments through the course of the day in the US.
And I will be here at the WION headquarters, getting you all the action from the universe of sport. All that you need to know about your favorite teams and players, right here.
The show that keeps you ahead of the global curve. A conversation you'd want to be a part of.
A place where news becomes an engaging exchange.
We bring you stories that impact your present.
This is World DNA.
Join the conversation.
Know more, understand better, think ahead. Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. Get the facts, not the bombast. On the 26th of March, dynamic pricing, Baloch separatists, Gravitas cuts out the clutter. Gravitas keeps calm when others scream. Gravitas brings news to life. Weekdays, 9 p.m. IST, 3:30 p.m. GMT. Gravitas. Seeing is believing.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch. WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION. World is one.
To bring the benefits of the Subhash Chandra Show to your educational institution, teachers and students, send an invitation to Juhi Jha at juhi@such.org.in.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching WION World is One. This is World DNA, the show that gets you ahead of the rest. I'm Shivan Chandra.
And I'm Jyotsna Kumar. And on the show today, U.S. President Donald Trump has said and has announced new 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminium imports into the U.S. Now, the largest sources of U.S. steel imports are Canada, Brazil, and Mexico, followed by South Korea and Vietnam, where Canada accounts for 79%. Of course, well, Mexico is also another country that, of course, contributes to that. Well, what happens next? We'll decode that on the show.
Also on World DNA, Trump signed a Gulf of America Day proclamation aboard Air Force One as he flew over the area he was renaming, known to others formerly as Gulf of Mexico. We will be bringing you all the latest on that front as well. Let's start with the headlines. This is World DNA.
U.S. President Donald Trump says he will announce new 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminum imports into the U.S. Says he will also announce reciprocal tariffs to take effect almost immediately.
Trump signs a proclamation declaring February 9th the first ever Gulf of America Day as Air Force One flies over the body of water that he ordered to be renamed from the Gulf of Mexico.
President Donald Trump doubles down on his Gaza plan, says he is committed to buying and owning Gaza, but could allow sections of the land to be rebuilt by other states in West Asia.
Colombian President Gustavo Petro asks his ministers and other senior officials to step down days after he lambasted his team on live television.
China is scaling back subsidies for renewable energy after record-breaking solar installations pushed it past its 2030 target 6 years early. The move reflects China's push to reduce government support as the sector matures.
The Philadelphia Eagles are cruising to victory against the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Donald Trump becomes the first sitting U.S. president to attend the game as Kendrick Lamar enthralls fans during halftime show.
And the United States will impose 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum imports on Monday. President Donald Trump says he'll announce the tariffs as well as other import duties later this week.
Trump also reaffirmed that he'll announce reciprocal tariffs, which means the U.S. would impose import duties on products where another country has levied duties on American goods.
Well, Trump spoke to reporters aboard Air Force One as he flew from Florida to attend the Super Bowl in New Orleans. During his first term, Trump had imposed tariffs of 25% on steel and 10% on aluminum, but he later granted several trading partners duty-free quotas, including Canada, Mexico, and Brazil. Now, former President Joe Biden then extended these quotas to Britain, Japan, and the European Union.
Every country will be reciprocal. That's right. Every country. Won't affect everybody because there's some where we have similar tariffs. But the ones that are taking advantage of the United States, we're going to have it's reciprocity, it's reciprocal. We're going to have a reciprocal tariff. But we'll have a news conference Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tomorrow?
Monday, yeah, tomorrow.
What countries will those go on?
Everybody. Steel.
Including Canada, Mexico,
yeah.
and
Any steel coming into the United States is going to have a 25% tariff.
What about aluminum, sir?
Aluminum too.
10%?
25%.
25 for aluminum as well?
25 for both.
Trump also signed a proclamation for Gulf of America Day as the Air Force One flew over the area known to others as Gulf of Mexico.
And we're flying right over it right now. So we thought this would be appropriate. Even bigger than the Super Bowl. This is a big thing. And almost everybody now has assented to that.
Attention on board. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could please direct your attention out the right side of the aircraft. Air Force One is currently in international waters, the first time in history flying over the recently renamed Gulf of America. Please enjoy the flight, and we are now about to head westbound to Super Bowl 59.
Wow, you did that well. Make America great again, right? That's what we care about. Okay, here we go. So this is a famous pen now.
The Trump administration's Interior Department said last month it had officially changed the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, while Trump can direct the U.S. Geological Survey to change how it denotes the Gulf of Mexico. Such a name change would be unlikely to be recognized internationally.
Our team is calling all the map providers, so Google Maps, Apple Maps, all the map people. That change will take effect this afternoon to Gulf of America. So again, fantastic. Thank you, President Trump, for setting this all in motion with your executive order. It's an exciting, fun day, and great to do this as we're flying over the Gulf of America.
Google Maps earlier said that it will change the name of Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America once it is officially updated in the US Geographic Names System. The change will be visible in the US, but it will remain Gulf of Mexico in Mexico. Outside of these two countries, users will see both names. And there's more from Trump. He said that he is committed to buying and owning the Gaza Strip,
but could allow sections of the war-ravaged land to be rebuilt by other states in West Asia. Trump made his remarks aboard Air Force One, again on his way to the New Orleans to attend the National Football League Super Bowl championship. The U.S. president also said he was open to the possibility of allowing some Palestinian refugees into the U.S., but would consider such requests on a case-by-case basis.
I'm committed to buying and owning Gaza. As far as us rebuilding it, we may give it to other states in the Middle East to build sections of it. Other people may do it through our auspices. But we're committed to owning it, taking it, and making sure that Hamas doesn't move back. There's nothing to move back into. The place is a demolition site. It'll be, the remainder will be demolished.
Trump last week floated the idea of the US taking over Gaza and engaging in a massive rebuilding effort. And the US president has spoken of permanently displacing Palestinians who live in Gaza and creating a Riviera of the West Asia.
Now, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, on the other hand, has praised the proposal of the U.S. control of Gaza and the displacement of its population as revolutionary, following his return to Israel from Washington.
President Trump presented a completely different vision for the post-war period. For an entire year, we were told that the day after must include the PLO and the Palestinian Authority. President Trump came with a completely different, much better vision for Israel, a revolutionary, creative approach that we are currently discussing. He is very determined to implement it, and I believe it opens up many possibilities for us.
Turkish President Erdogan said there is no point to discuss Trump's plan to take over the war-ravaged Gaza Strip. He said no one has the strength to remove the people of Gaza from their homeland that has been theirs for thousands of years. Palestine belongs to the Palestinians with Gaza, the West Bank and East Jerusalem.
I would like to state this clearly once. The proposals put forward by the new American administration regarding Gaza with the pressure of the Zionist lobby have nothing worth considering or discussing from our perspective. These are purely preoccupations with nonsense. They are efforts to pound water in a mortar.
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz labeled as a scandal Donald Trump's plans for the Palestinian territory, while his conservative election rival Friedrich Merz said he also shared this assessment.
Wir sind darauf vorbereitet. Ja, ist die Antwort.
A scandal. Incidentally, this is a very terrible term because now that the ceasefire has just begun, we can see the unbelievable destruction that has been caused there. And I say this with the Egyptian government, with the Jordanian government, and with the people who can count on human dignity. The relocation of a population is unacceptable and against international law.
Eine sehr exportstarke Nation geben, die darunter.
Trump sparked global outrage by the Gaza takeover suggestion, drawing rebukes from world powers, Russia and China, which said the plan would foster new suffering and new hatred. Regional heavyweight Saudi Arabia rejected the proposal outright.
Meanwhile, Palestinians were able to cross the Netzarim corridor, a strategic zone cutting the narrow territory in two, after Israeli troops were said to have withdrawn on Sunday.
In the past 24 hours, Israeli military operations killed 8 people and wounded 2 others in Gaza, bringing the Palestinian death toll to 48,189 and the number of injuries to 111,640 since the conflict began in October 2023. Gaza's civil defense agency said Israeli forces shot dead 3 civilians in Gaza City north of Netzarim, while the military said that it fired warning shots and hit Palestinians who had approached the troops.
Now, furthermore, the Israeli military said it carried out an airstrike on Sunday targeting a tunnel on the border between Syria and Lebanon used by the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah to smuggle weapons. Israeli aircraft conducted a precise intelligence-based strike on an underground tunnel crossing from Syrian territory into Lebanese territory that was used by Hezbollah to smuggle the weapons. Now, additionally, the military struck several other Hezbollah sites in Lebanon. All right, we move to Germany, where Chancellor Olaf Scholz accused his election rival Friedrich Merz of having broken his word by accepting support from the far-right AfD to push an anti-immigration motion through the parliament.
Scholz made the statement during a first and only one-on-one live TV debate ahead of the February 23rd elections. Centre-left Scholz, who is hoping for a late comeback amid poor poll ratings, went on the offensive against the conservative Merz. He charged that Merz's tactic of accepting votes from the Alternative for Germany late last month had meant a breaking of his word and of a taboo. Meanwhile, Merz stressed that his Christian Democratic Union, or the CDU, and their Bavarian allies, the CSU, if they win the election, would not cooperate or rule with the anti-immigration AfD.
We are worlds apart on factual issues, as far as Europe is concerned, as far as NATO is concerned, as far as the euro is concerned, as far as Russia is concerned, as far as America is concerned. There is no common ground between the AfD and the Union. Moderators ask, in no coalition or any situation will they be tolerated.
Now, during the debate, Scholz listed progress made by his coalition government at the national and EU level to control irregular migration, but Merz accused him of living in a different world to German citizens.
Wurde schon von Herrn Merz gesagt.
And against the backdrop of our history, we in Germany must do everything we can to ensure that the AfD has no significance. That is why there is no cooperation with them. You can rely on the Social Democrats. And you can rely on me.
Nicht mehr sicher sein. Ich wünsche es mir natürlich, aber ich bin mir nicht sicher.
Merz, whose party is polling at around 30%, is banking on going all in on immigration to peel away voters tempted by the AfD, which is polling in second place with at least 20% of the vote. The Social Democrats of Scholz and the Greens are both trailing at around 15%. The rivals also clashed on the ailing economy, while Scholz advocated investment to help struggling businesses and a higher minimum wage. Merz blamed his government for Germany now deindustrializing. The two candidates mostly agreed on major foreign policy goals and the need to raise defense spending, but differed somewhat on how Berlin should deal with US President Trump. Scholz labeled Trump's plan to take control of Gaza and empty the war-ravaged Palestinian territory as a scandal.
alles, was für unser Landeswohl, für das Wohl.
It's a scandal, and it is a particularly terrible description because now that the ceasefire has just begun, we can see the unbelievable destruction that has been caused there. And I say with the Egyptian government, with the Jordanian government, and with the people who can count on human dignity, the displacement of populations is unacceptable and against international law.
Verfahren durchführen müssen, wieder zurücknehmen.
Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania have successfully connected to the European power grid after cutting their energy ties with Russia and Belarus.
Now, these former Soviet states that are now European Union and NATO members have been working on making the change since Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022. The Baltic states disconnected from the Soviet-era network.
Latvian President Edgars Rinkēvičs took to social media and celebrated, saying, "We did it." Speaking alongside her Estonian and Latvian counterparts during a presser in Vilnius, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said ending Baltic power links to Russia means freedom from threats and blackmail.
Today, history is made. We connect the Baltic states to our continental European electricity grid. Electricity lines with Russia and Belarus are being dismantled. These chains of power lines linking you to hostile neighbors will be a thing of the past. This is freedom, freedom from threats, freedom from blackmails.
This comes amid growing security concerns in the Baltic Sea region after the damage to undersea cables and pipelines that is believed to be caused by ships dragging anchors. Russia has denied any involvement. In response, Poland and the Baltic states have deployed Navy assets, elite police units, and helicopters to protect critical infrastructure. Analysts warn that more damage to power links can spike electricity prices, as seen after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. With this move, the Baltic states complete their decades-long break from Russian influence, now fully integrated into Europe's energy network. And well, moving on, North Korea celebrated the 77th anniversary of formation of the Korean People's Army.
But along with the traditional musical and dance performances to mark the occasion in Pyongyang came an ominous message from its leader Kim Jong-un. In a speech at the Defense Ministry, Kim vowed to further strengthen his country's nuclear weapons program to counter what he called the US plot to form a NATO-like military bloc in the region. Kim Jong-un called the elevated US security partnership with South Korea and Japan a grave threat to North Korea. He claimed it is creating a military imbalance on the Korean peninsula and posing a challenge to the security environment of North Korea.
전체 장병들은
Now, in recent years, Kim has focused on enlarging and modernizing North Korea's nuclear arsenal. In response, the United States and South Korea have expanded their bilateral military exercises and trilateral training involving Japan. North Korea has often called these exercises rehearsals to invade the country.
Kim also accused the US of being the war machine that is stirring up the tragic situation of Ukraine significantly. He stated North Korea will invariably support the Russian army and people in defending their sovereignty, security and territorial integrity.
North Korea now marks two major army anniversaries. The 8th of February anniversary is intended to mark the start of its conventional army in 1948. The other big military anniversary is on the 25th of April that marks a date when North Korea says its former leader Kim Il-sung started a guerrilla force to fight Japanese occupation in 1932.
The controversy surrounding Elon Musk and the Treasury blockade is reaching a boiling point.
Musk has now called the judge who barred his department access to Treasury records a corrupt judge protecting corruption. Musk has demanded that he needs to be impeached now, even as he alleged shocking levels of potential fraud at the U.S. Treasury Department worth nearly $50 billion a year.
In a late-night ruling on Saturday, a federal judge barred Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, from accessing the Treasury's payment system, and the Treasury system moves trillions of dollars. The judge cited serious risks from the potential exposure of private citizen data, stating that Trump's administration could use this access to block congressionally approved funds they disagree with. In a blitz of posts on social media, Musk claimed that DOGE had already found major problems with the way the Treasury Department was paying the bills. Musk wrote that he was told that the department paying $100 billion worth of benefits to unidentified individuals every year, and he wrote that these payments were made to individuals with no social security number or even a temporary ID number.
We added that there was consensus at the Treasury Department that roughly half of that number was ambiguous and obvious fraud. Now that is $50 billion a year or $1 billion a week. Musk has said this in his post. The ruling came just hours after 19 Democratic state attorneys general filed a lawsuit to halt Musk's access, fearing it could compromise both financial security and government oversight. In response, the judge issued a temporary order forcing Musk and his team to immediately destroy any material that they had obtained.
This blockade stands until at least Friday, when a new hearing could determine whether it becomes permanent. President Trump has publicly backed Musk, praising his actions during a press conference with Japan's Prime Minister. But as legal challenges pile up, the fight between the White House and the judiciary is intensifying, with courts emerging as a major obstacle to Trump's ambitious policy agenda.
Then, your candidates will go.
All right, now it's time to slip into a small break. We'll be right back on the other side of World DNA.
On the other side, when we get back, we carry more reports. Over 1,000 arrests have been made across Bangladesh after the interim government launched Operation Devil Hunt. More on that when we come back.
Also on the other side, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to leave for France and the US on Monday, where he is set to hold talks with French President Emmanuel Macron and US President Donald Trump.
The Earth is sending distress signals. Wildfires, droughts, and melting glaciers. Can we reverse the damage? Explore the harrowing effects of climate change. It's a wake-up call. Global emergency. Climate Tracker on WION World is One.
Know more, understand better, think ahead. Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. Get the facts, not the bombast. On the 26th of March, dynamic pricing, Baloch separatists, Gravitas cuts out the clutter. Gravitas keeps calm when others scream. Gravitas brings news to life. Weekdays, 9 p.m. IST, 3:30 p.m. GMT. Gravitas. Seeing is believing.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch. WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION. World is one.
To bring the benefits of the Subhash Chandra Show to your educational institution, teachers and students, send an invitation to Juhi Jha at juhi@such.org.in.
Ready to dive into your daily dose of news?
Bringing you what's trending in the West and all that's setting trends in the East.
And all of this served up with a side of insightful banter.
We don't just bring you the latest stories.
We bring you your talking points for the day.
And while you do that, from the busy streets of New York, I will provide you with deeper insights on the developments through the course of the day in the US.
And I will be here at the WION headquarters, getting you all the action from the universe of sport. All that you need to know about your favorite teams and players, right here.
The show that keeps you ahead of the global curve. A conversation you'd want to be a part of.
A place where news becomes an engaging exchange.
We bring you stories that impact your present.
This is World DNA.
Join the conversation.
Know more, understand better, think ahead. Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. Get the facts, not the bombast.
On the 26th of March, dynamic pricing, Baloch separatists,
Gravitas cuts out the clutter. Gravitas keeps calm when others scream. Gravitas brings news to life. Weekdays 9 p.m. IST, 3:30 p.m. GMT. Gravitas. Seeing is believing.
The Earth is sending distress signals. Wildfires, droughts, and melting glaciers. Can we reverse the damage? Explore the harrowing effects of climate change. It's a wake-up call. Global emergency. Climate Tracker on WION World is One.
And welcome back, viewers. You're watching WION World is One. This is World DNA with Jyotsna and I'm Shivan. Lots more on this side of the show as well. Let's start with the headlines.
I think Canada would be much better off being a 51st state because we lose $200 billion a year with Canada, and I'm not going to let that happen.
President Donald Trump says Canada would be much better off as a U.S. state. And this after Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said earlier this week that Trump's wish for Canada to be the 51st state is a real thing.
US President Trump says he will announce new 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminium imports into the US. Says he will also announce reciprocal tariffs to take effect almost immediately.
President Donald Trump signs a proclamation declaring February 9th the first ever Gulf of America Day as Air Force One flies over the body of water that he ordered to be renamed from the Gulf of Mexico.
US President Donald Trump doubles down on his Gaza plan, says he is committed to buying and owning Gaza, but could allow sections of the land to be rebuilt by other states in West Asia.
Colombian President Gustavo Petro asked his ministers and other senior officials to step down days after he lambasted his team on live television.
Supporters of Kosovo's Prime Minister Albin Kurti celebrate parliamentary election results. Exit polls predict ruling party to come first, but will need to negotiate a coalition to form a government.
New Zealand will ease visa rules to attract foreign investors, aiming to boost economic growth after a technical recession in 2024. The government is also launching Invest in New Zealand to streamline overseas investment.
The Philadelphia Eagles are cruising to victory against the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Donald Trump becomes the first sitting U.S. president to attend the game as Kendrick Lamar enthralls fans during the halftime show.
A total of 1,308 people have been arrested across Bangladesh, and this comes after the interim government launched Operation Devil Hunt.
The arrests were made from Saturday night to Sunday in what many believe is a targeted crackdown on the Awami League supporters. According to a statement released by Additional Inspector General of Police, 274 people were arrested by Metropolitan Police, while another 1,034 were arrested by different range police.
The special operation was launched after Bangladesh's Home Ministry held a meeting with law and order forces. The meeting followed violent clashes between anti-Sheikh Hasina protesters and locals in Ghazipur, which resulted in injuries to 15 students.
The clashes took place when protesters moved towards Sheikh Hasina's Liberation War Affairs Minister Muzammil Haq's house. Locals announced over the microphone that robbers had arrived, resulting in violent clashes. And this comes as Bangladesh Chief Advisor Muhammad Yunus issued a statement requesting all citizens to maintain peace on the ground. Although many believe the special operation is meant to target Awami League supporters and their allies.
In the meantime, Bangladesh has criticized India's comments on the demolition of the residence of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, calling them unexpected and undesirable, and labeling them as interference in its internal matters.
Now, over the past week, law and order situation in Bangladesh has deteriorated, with mobs targeting supporters of the deposed Prime Minister. and vandalized their homes and businesses. The mobs also vandalized a memorial of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, Hasina's father, in Dhaka, setting the historic building on fire, drawing condemnation from the Indian government. Indian Prime Minister Modi is leaving for a high-profile visit to France and the US on Monday.
Now, during the visit, Modi will hold talks with Presidents Emmanuel Macron and Donald Trump. Prime Minister Modi's visit to France from 10th to 12th of February will include a dinner hosted by President Macron at the Élysée Palace. The following day, he will co-chair the Artificial Intelligence Action Summit along with French President Macron. Now, after the AI Summit, Prime Minister Modi and President Macron will address the India-France CEOs Forum.
The Indian Prime Minister's visit to France will also include a trip to Marseille on the 11th of February. The next day, Modi and Macron will pay tributes to fallen Indian soldiers at the war cemetery in World War I.
Now, both the leaders will also jointly inaugurate the new Consulate General of India in Marseille and also visit the site of the International Thermal Nuclear Experimental Reactor in Kadash.
Now, after France, Prime Minister Modi will visit the US on the 12th and 13th of February, during which time Prime Minister Modi is slated to meet President Trump and senior leaders of the US administration. And this will be the first visit of the Indian Prime Minister to the US since the inauguration of President Trump.
In a special media briefing this week, Indian Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri said that Prime Minister's visit within 3 weeks of the new administration taking office shows the importance of the India-US partnership. Misri added that PM Modi will hold bilateral meeting with Donald Trump with key US administration figures and also calling on him. And while the buzz over who will be the next Delhi Chief Minister has been intensifying.
A day after registering a massive victory in the Delhi Assembly elections, the BJP has sought time for a meeting of the newly elected party MLAs with Lieutenant Governor Vinay Kumar Saxena. Delhi BJP President Virendra Sachdeva has written to the LG seeking an appointment for a meeting with the 48 newly elected party MLAs and 7 Lok Sabha MPs from the city. The BJP is all set to form the next government in Delhi after a gap of 27 years.
The party had won 48 seats out of 70 in the elections, reducing AAP party to just 22. The Congress has drawn a blank for the third consecutive time. BJP leaders say that formation of the government in Delhi is likely to take place after Prime Minister Narendra Modi returns from his foreign visit.
The suspense over who will be the new chief minister has been growing, with several names of senior leaders who won the elections being speculated to hold the top post. Discussions are on with options on the table, including Delhi's 7 BJP MPs and its big assembly winners.
Parvesh Verma, the son of former Delhi Chief Minister Sahib Singh Verma, has emerged as the front-runner for the top job. He defeated AAP convener and former 3-time Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. Another potential candidate is Vijendra Gupta, the BJP opposition leader in the Delhi Legislative Assembly. He has also served as Delhi BJP chief.
Other names include Virendra Sachdeva and Bansuri Swaraj. Sachdeva is the president of the Bharatiya Janata Party in Delhi. He assumed this role on the 23rd of March 2023. And Bansuri Swaraj, the first-time MP and veteran BJP leader Sushma Swaraj's daughter, also emerged as the contender for the Delhi Chief Minister's post. BJP MP Manoj Tiwari is also among the CM probables. Although he did not contest the assembly elections, he remains a strong contender for the CM post. Rekha Gupta won from Shalimar Bagh on a BJP ticket, and she also comes from the Bania community, which is also being considered for, she's also being considered for the top job.
Now, BJP has sprung surprises when it comes to picking chief ministers, from appointing Nayab Singh Saini to Mohan Charan Manji to Vishnu Deo as chief ministers of Haryana, Odisha and Chhattisgarh, respectively. The BJP top brass balance caste, gender, community with experience when it comes to picking chief minister.
The stage is set for Asia's biggest aerospace exhibition, that is the Aero India 2025.
And that is to begin today. Now, Sunday had marked the curtain raiser event for Aero India, chaired by Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. For the 4 days, the Indian city of Bengaluru will host a spectacular display of cutting-edge technology, aerobatic performances and defence innovations.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, speaking at the curtain raiser event, hailed India's aerospace industry and praised Prime Minister Modi for the industry's development.
Friends, I am delighted to share with you that today India's aerospace industry is advancing at a rapid pace. Under the visionary leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, we have galvanized the entire defense sector, especially the aerospace sector, like never before. Today, we are not only capable of designing and developing major platforms and equipment within India, but we have also successfully established a vast supply chain within the country.
In a historic moment ahead of the event, Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh and Army Chief Upendra Dwivedi took a sortie in the trainer version of the indigenous LCA Tejas. Two serving chiefs flying together in an Indian fighter jet is a first. Visuals did show the two chiefs suiting up, fastening their flight gear and making final checks and walking towards the Tejas aircraft before the technicians give the final nod after they climb into the cockpit.
The Aero Show's display features some of the world's most advanced fighter jets. The Rafale represents the Indian Air Force with its deadly weaponry and cutting-edge avionics. In the aerial display, the Sukhoi showcases raw power and agility, while the F-35 demonstrates next-generation stealth and sensor fusion. The F-16, a proven multi-role fighter, adds to the lineup with its enduring performance.
Now, this year, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, or HAL, is taking center stage, showcasing its light utility helicopter and the CATS Warrior. The India Pavilion promises a glimpse into the HAL's latest technologies. Now, defense ministers, industry leaders and dignitaries from across the globe will be attending, making this a crucial platform for partnerships and collaboration. All right, moving on. China's consumer inflation accelerated to its fastest pace in 5 months in January, with the consumer price index rising 0.5%.
This was slightly above market expectations. Core inflation, which excludes food and fuel prices, also edged up. However, the increase was largely driven by seasonal factors, as the Lunar New Year began in January this year instead of February. Airfare prices rose 8.9%, tourism inflation hit 7%, and movie ticket prices surged 11%. Yet, despite higher spending on entertainment and travel, overall per capita consumption during the holiday season rose by just 1.2%. This marks a sharp drop from 9.4% in 2024, signaling weak consumer confidence.
While consumer prices saw a seasonal boost, factory gate prices remain stuck in deflation. The producer price index fell 2.3% year-on-year in January, marking the 28th consecutive month of decline. Overcapacity in industrial goods and weak global demand continue to weigh on factory prices. China's manufacturing sector contracted unexpectedly last month, and services activity also softened. These figures highlight the ongoing struggle to boost domestic demand amid a prolonged property downturn and mounting local government debt.
China's economic outlook remains uncertain, with deflationary pressures persisting and external risks rising. Donald Trump's proposed tariffs on Chinese goods could further strain exports, one of China's key growth drivers last year. Despite these challenges, Beijing is expected to maintain its 5% growth target for 2025. However, policymakers are unlikely to announce any major fiscal or monetary stimulus before the annual parliament session in March. Analysts say China's provincial growth targets for 2025 suggest inflation expectations below 3%, signaling that authorities remain cautious about price stability and economic momentum. For now, weak domestic demand and external uncertainties continue to weigh on China's recovery. And everyone is aware of Bitcoin's popularity and how many large long-term investors are adding the OG token to their portfolios.
Absolutely. Now, families are investing in cryptos as a college saving strategy to enhance their children's financial prospects despite the associated risks and volatility. Take a look at the next report for more details on this.
Traditionally, U.S. parents turn to tax-advantaged 529 savings plans to help fund their children's education. The reason? The cost of higher education continues to rise in the U.S. These plans, named after Section 521 of the Internal Revenue Code, were first intended to finance higher education expenses. However, a Bloomberg report shows that some American parents are increasingly abandoning traditional tactics in favor of aggressively accumulating a substantial quantity of Bitcoin to secure their children's future. Some assert that stock gains are insufficient, while others consider them a reasonable method to diversify investments. While Bitcoin's value has surged over 500% from the lows of the crypto winter in 2022, many predict the OG token's rise is far from over. Parents insist their kids have plenty of time to ride out Bitcoin's wild swings and still earn big to pay for college if they start these investments early. The introduction of Bitcoin exchange-traded funds last year sparked a renaissance in interest in investment in the crypto, which had fallen out of favor due to a number of scandals after the collapse of FTX. The surge in tuition fees is pushing parents to look at Bitcoin investment as an option. Traditional assets are not giving the returns to pay for private university because tuition can reach $100,000. In certain states, people can save on their state income taxes by investing in a 529 plan. The money grows tax deferred, and when it's time to pay for college, it can be withdrawn tax-free. Crypto, on the other hand, has zero such benefits. However, it could be difficult for parents to stop their children from investing in cryptos. Well, reason being, Bitcoin is very popular among the younger generation. Business Bureau Report, WION World is One.